Okay, friends, pop culture enthusiasts, and everybody in between. Of course, if you're a pop culture enthusiast, you are probably also a friend. Hence, that you are listening to this show. And this show, friends, is the Top 5 Podcast. This is the show inspired by the concept in the movie High Fidelity, where the delightful Rob Gordon, played by John Cusack, and his buddies come up with these top 5 lists to kind of share their feelings. And their top 5 lists are mostly music. But Annie, my favorite co-host, who is also my younger sister, Annie and I take it to obscenely creative and fun levels, don't we, Annie?
We certainly do. Absolutely.
We certainly do. And I'm going to tell you guys, if I didn't make this abundantly clear once before, that when I put out into the universe the fact that I wanted people to help co-host the show with me, who was the first person that wrote me back and said, I'm in? Yeah, that girl. And it has been nothing but a labor of love. And it's really not even labor. It's just fun. Like editing this show and posting it and making the little show art and all of the things is like my favorite thing in the world, which actually second favorite thing in the world, because talking to you and doing the recording is my favorite thing in the world.
Indeed.
It is eclipsed knitting. It is eclipsed knitting.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, because watching the stuff, right, is still at the top, but this is a very, very close second because we're talking about the shit that we watch and listen to and experience.
Yes.
And it's a blast.
Because we love movies and music and all things pop culture.
Yes. We were raised that way. When your family is the only family on the block with the 1,000-pound Betamax, and your father is a classic film enthusiast that records everything on television at every channel. God, what would Dad have done now with streaming? I mean, oh my God.
Dear Lord, he would never have gotten away from the television.
Oh my God. It's crazy. So we have a fun theme today, don't we?
We certainly do. I'm very excited about this one. This is going to be unique for me.
Yeah. And I am wondering if we're going to have any overlap at all. I don't think we are. And if we are, I'll be pretty fucking amazed, but nonetheless. So Annie, what is that theme for today?
So we're going to do top 5 origin story movies that need to be made. So do you want to explain that?
So we did a sequels that need to be made show not too long ago. And one of mine was New Jack City, where I said I don't want a sequel because almost everybody in the first movie's dead. But I thought, I would love a prequel to New Jack City. Like, how did Nino Brown come about? Did he really kill Ice-T's mom? And all of those things. And Annie said, yeah, we need to do an origin story show, which, origin stories have become kind of a thing with all of the superhero and comic book stuff that's out there, which is great and fun. But I think there are some other stories that could have incredible expository information, or like you get a tiny hint of something in a movie and you're like, oh my God, I need to know more about that, right?
Yeah. So I will say I do not have one superhero on my list because those kind of, like you said, they're being done. They're being made.
Mail call. Thank you. Yes, they've been made. And I think that I'm kind of done on the superhero roller coaster.
Yeah.
I think I've ridden that one as far and long as I can ride.
Yeah, and especially like the most recent Captain Marvel movie was the lowest grossing Marvel opening weekend ever. So I'm just not, they need to come up with something new. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, the problem with, this could be a whole other show itself, but I think that Hollywood has gotten too wrapped up in the notion of franchises, sequels, and remakes. Yeah. And all of the really original storytelling is happening on the streaming platforms. Because of the shows that I have enjoyed the most in the last 5 years have been Netflix, Showtime, HBO shows, and, quirky enough for me. Like, I like dark shows. My therapist even told me I should start watching some more upbeat shows. She told me, she said, you need to watch Ted Lasso. Like, that's homework for you. And so I have promised her I will do that someday, but probably not until Cobra Kai is over, which might be another year. But regardless, yeah, this is going to be a fun show because I think there's some cool ideas out there. And I can't wait to see what's on your list. And with that, I think you ought to go first.
So I will kick us off with, this would be an origin story stemming from the movie True Romance. I would like to know the story of Drexel Spivey, the pimp character played by Gary Oldman. So a little bit about this. They told him when they asked Gary Oldman to be in this movie, they gave him general parameters of what the character needed to be, and then he designed the entire character from the scars to the teeth to the hair to the clothes to the accent, everything. 100% created by Gary Oldman. So if you don't know, he is a pimp, but he's a very odd man. He has all of these scars on his face, and he's just kind of like, I want to know, where did he come from? What is his story? And how did he rise to this, prestigious spot in the scum world that he lived in? So it just seems like there's a really interesting story to be told. I really want to know how he got those scars. I'm sorry.
Seriously.
And obviously it could not be played by Gary Oldman, but I could see like a young, like Taron Egerton, or, there's somebody that fit that mold, there's somebody that really could nail that part.
The younger chameleon-esque actor. A younger,
yes, I don't know if I pronounce this. Yes, but I want to know his story. So there you go. That's my number 5 origin story that needs to be made.
Okay, and what's his character's name again?
Drexel Spivey.
Drexel Spivey. That just sounds like a name. Squirrely name, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 5. And I'm like going way back to fucking 1943. I want to know what Rick did in Casablanca before he had Ricks. Like Rick Blaine. They hint at he ran guns to Ethiopia and he's not even welcome in his home country anymore. So I want to know why. And I like, even before, because Casablanca is told a lot in flashback scenes, but only to the extent of him with Ilsa. We don't even know where and how he met Ilsa. So I want to go further back from Paris. I want to go, what is the legend of Rick Blaine? And yeah, who was he when he was this, major do-gooder who's not really a do-gooder? I'm the only cause I'm interested in. Bullshit. So yeah. And again, who are you going to get these days to do that film? Even Sean Penn is told to do that. Wow.
Well, it'd have to be a younger. Yeah.
We're going to have to do a follow-up episode so we can cast these things.
Yes. No kidding.
Seriously. Oh, wow. That's going to be hard. Okay. So anyway, that's my number 5. I want the legend of Rick Blaine.
I love it. I really do. Okay. My number 4 is Dr. Frank Enfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show. I want to know about the world they came from, from outer space, right? So where did they come from, and how did he become the sweet transvestite that he is? I mean, all we know is that we know he's from outer space. We know he's, an evil genius of sorts. And there's this in Transylvania. What is this planet? What, where do they come from? So, I mean, you could throw in Riff Raff and Magenta as well, but I mostly just want to know about the young Frankenfurter, because you don't just become the hotness of the sweet transvestite that he is overnight. So
No, you do not.
how did that develop? So I think that'd be a great story. It wouldn't necessarily, it could be a kick-ass musical as well. Just saying.
Yes.
And now I'm racking my brain because now I really want to cast these. I want to come up with the actors to cast in this
I know.
role.
I just pulled the top 20 actors in their 20s. Right now, like, who's the Gen Z? Who is Gen Z putting out there into Hollywood? And I'm seeing people that I recognize and that oh my, Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, he would be a beautiful transvestite. There you go.
Yeah, yes, he would. Oh
Okay.
my. Woo. Okay. Yeah, moving on. Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Okay. So now I'm going back to the 70s because I would like to know about the vaudeville years of Lewis and Clark, the Sunshine Boys.
Oh, I love
I
it.
would like to know how these guys became an act. I do not really, I mean, I get the concept of what vaudeville is and was, but in terms of like how acts came to be and, how did you get a role on a stage? I don't, it would be as much of telling this a story of the golden years of vaudeville as much as it would where did Al Lewis and Willie Clark come from and how did they get together and what the fuck happened that made them hate each other so much? I think we know the answer to that is that, Al decided he was done and Willie wasn't, but there had to have been something else that made this so hard. They were together for 43 years and it just ended, but super duper funny men.
Yes.
Throughout the entire movie, The Sunshine Boys, which is also a very touching film. But yeah, I would like to see, and so yeah, young comedians. I don't know, like what is the facsimile to vaudeville these days? Is it Saturday Night Live? It's not stand up because I don't think it's jokes and bits, but it's sketches, right? Or
Yeah.
I mean, like I think of even the early part of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. She was a vaudeville performer, but she was singing and dancing and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, but it sure would be fun and funny to find out.
It really would. Huh.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, my number 3, and I just by racking my brain and Googling the shit out of this, I found who I want to play this character as well. I want the origin story for Leon the Professional. So when we meet, he is already the best at the assassin. He is old and a hermit and very socially awkward and silent, quiet and actually just kind of scared to be a human being, but he's very, very good at killing people. How did he become this way? I would love to know his backstory. And the person I think that would be good to play that character is Aidan Gallagher, the guy who played number 5 from the Umbrella Academy series.
Oh, okay.
I think he could play that kind of awkward, but also like stealthy assassin type. So, but I want to know Leon's story because I love that movie. I think we've talked about it before, but there's so much that I want to know about Leon that I didn't find out.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted a sequel to The Professional because we wanted to see where Matilda was going to go with her life.
Yeah.
I love the idea of an origin story to learn more about Leon. I'm sadly going down this rabbit hole of young actors under 30, and it's a little debilitating. It's not giving me the information I want. Nonetheless, okay. So number 3 to me.
Yes.
Okay. I think that Boogie Nights is Paul Thomas Anderson's best film ever. And so I would like to know how Jack Horner got started in the biz. What made him want to become a porn director? And how did he become one of the best? And what is his relationship truly to Roller Girl and Amber Waves and those folks. So before, he was the super silver-haired, discoverer of Dirk Diggler. Because those were early days of porn. But that was taking place in what, like 1978 to 1982-ish. So what did Jack Horner do in the 60s or late 50s? Because I don't know that there was really a lot of porn out there. If it was super underground. And yeah, what were people doing for, you have Betty Page. I don't know, Betty Page wasn't making movies, but yeah, so that is of huge interest to me, not just about the Jack Horner, story, but the early days of pornography, generally speaking. It's such a fascinating industry, highly misunderstood, I think. But that's my opinion. I listen to way too many podcasts. Because it's something I have such curiosity about this industry. But I think that would be a great story to tell. Yeah, and now racking my brain, who's going to be a young Jack Horner? I don't know. This is going to take some intense study because now I really do fucking want to cast these things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very good. Okay, number 2 to me.
Yeah.
My 2 is I want the origin story for Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Oh.
And it is not his first kill. And for all the serial killer movies that you see, the first kill is the one that matters, right?
Yeah.
So I want to know, how did he come to put this of, designing a suit made out of skin, and, how did he get this house with the awesome well in the basement? How did all of that come to be? And I know you learn a little bit about him, but you don't see it. So, because he's older, he's he's the receding hairline, and he's kind of. But I just want to see kind of, I want his backstory. I want to know, how did he become Buffalo Bill? And I think the person that could really nail that part, because he could play the creepy, but also because you sympathize in a way, because he's so messed up. But I think Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things could really pull that off, because he can play this. He can play intense, and he can play creepy, play sympathetic. So I don't know. I think he could do it.
Love that.
I want the origin story for Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
That is fan-freaking-tastic. Yeah. Well, and even I don't know if there's anything in Red Dragon that leans you in that direction, but there may be something in the Hannibal Rising versus the Hannibal television show. Although I don't think Thomas Harris had anything to do with the TV show. Yeah, that whole universe, right?
Yeah.
The whole, does it start with Hannibal Lecter? Is it really his story that's being told throughout all of these books? I think it is. Oh. But yeah, this is the perfect origin story / spinoff, because he's such a formidable villain / killer that comes out in Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Annie, this is just so much shit to be thinking about. Woof.
I know.
Okay, my number 2, and I don't know a lot of people in this world that have seen this movie, but this is one of my favorite cop films of all time, directed by Sidney Lumet. It came out in 1990. Nick Nolte and Armand Assante and a very adorable, handsome Timothy Hutton. The film is Q&A, and it's a super in-depth look at police corruption, as well as, the judicial system and law and order and all of that kind of stuff, and politics, because politics is part of everything. Nick Nolte plays this kind of hardened, grizzled, older detective who is being questioned in a police shooting that he says was a self-defense. And Timothy Hutton is the younger former cop ADA that's brought in to oversee the case. It's supposed to be a cut and dried, the perp had a gun on him, but as Timothy Hutton's character, Aloysius Francis Riley, begins to peel away the layers of all this, there's incredible corruption and very deep-seated relationships with the bad guys and the good guys. So there's a character in the film called, oh my gosh, what's his name? I'm totally forgetting what his character's name is, but he's played by the guy from In Harm's Way. That was, oh my gosh, why am I drawing such a blank on characters' names? I'm going to look it up. Hang on. I'm going to pause recording. No, I'm not. I'm just going to edit this shit out because now I'm really embarrassed. Hang on one second. So, okay.
This movie.
Patrick O'Neill is the actor. Kevin Quinn is the character he plays. He is the chief of homicide, and his backstory, he was a guy they called Skinny in the older days. And then Timothy Hutton's father's name is Kevin Riley, and he was a cop. So I want the backstory of Kevin Quinn, Kevin Riley, and the younger Bobby Texador, who's played by Armand Assante. This movie is currently available on Hulu if you've never seen it. It is truly exceptional. And I forget that it's out there because it doesn't just like pop up front and center on these different streaming platforms. I don't even think I saw it in the movie theater. I think it's something I went to Blockbuster and, read the back of a box and said, ooh, I want to see this. And then there you go. But yeah, so if you have not seen Q&A, it is well worth a watch. And from that, I want the story of Kevin Quinn, Kevin Riley, and Bobby Texador.
I love it. I need to watch this movie. I've never seen it.
Oh, Annie, it is brilliant. And I think you will love it.
Okay. All right. So I do have an honorable mention.
Yeah.
And my honorable mention is I want the story of John Patrick Mason from The Rock. So the character played by Sean Connery. So we know that he's a prisoner. He's the only man that's ever escaped from Alcatraz, and he's stole government secrets, and he's since been, put away in the most top security prison illegally because he's for all of these years. So I want to know why he, how do you, the whole escape, scene would be amazing, but, where did he steal the microfiche with the government secrets of who actually killed JFK? Everything about his past, and in the movie, it's an absolute mystery. He has a daughter that he barely knows, who's the daughter's mom, just everything about him. We don't know anything about his past other than he escaped from Alcatraz and he stole government secrets. So I want to know about his character because I think that would be super interesting. John Patrick Mason from The Rock. There you go.
I love that. That would
I think Tom would be amazing in that. Tom Holland. Tom Holland would be my choice.
Holland. Yeah. Well, that is one of my favorite action films ever.
Yeah.
Because it's a clever concept, and Nicolas Cage is both like goofy and funny, and then like, okay, I'm into this. This is serious. There's some fantastic quotables from that film. Yes. Yeah, all kinds of fun. Good call, Annie. You have some really awesome ones here.
Thank you.
Okay, my honorable mention is a little bit of a cop-out because I've learned that they are in the process of making this, but I do feel like we need a pre-Karate Kid telling of Mr. Miyagi's upbringing and, his time in Japan and what was his relationship with, oh God, I want to say Sato, but that's not the right name. Anyway, what his relationship was with, his I don't know. I am having such an issue with words and names today. But whatever his issue was with his childhood friend who he learned karate with, and as well as his relationship with these women and all that kind of stuff before. And then, he was in the war. He fought in World War II and got the Medal of Honor. What was that all about? But I do think that the fellas that are behind Cobra Kai, I do think that there is a pre-Karate Kid storytelling in the works, whether it's a series or it's going to be a movie. So yeah, it's kind of cheating because now I know that they're doing one, but nonetheless, I really want that story to be told. And that would, bring the whole Miyagi verse full circle. Although, they're going to have to do something with Miguel Diaz and Robbie Keane and oh my God. Having such Daniel LaRusso's daughter. All they're going to need their own shit too. So nonetheless, that's my honorable mention.
I love it. Okay.
I want a baby Miyagi.
A good one. Okay. My number one is it's probably one of the greatest cult classic movies of all time, but Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride, who is searching for the six-fingered man who gave him the scars on his face and killed his father. So I would love to see the story of as a child becoming a man, becoming the greatest swordsman of all time, and how he came to befriend Andre the Giant, or however you call that. But yeah, Inigo has a great story to tell. It just, because when you meet him on screen, it's after he rose to become the greatest swordsman. So how did all that happen? That would be amazing. And I think he has I think there could be a lot you could do with that, because you could fill in some of the backstory of some of the other characters as well, like the evil genius guy. So I don't have much else to say. That is a movie that needs to be made. Inigo Montoya's story needs to be told.
I am so embarrassed to admit that I have never seen The Princess Bride. If we were to do a show, we should do a show, top 5 shows or movies that we get the most shit from others on having never seen. That would be at the top of my list. So there, I just gave the answer away, but I know I know the story. I know the line, the whole, I am Inigo Montoya, you killed my father. Like, I know that line is a bit, right? And I know who the players are in the film. And I think it was Rob Reiner's first or second movie, but I've never seen it. Never sat down to watch it. Shame on me.
Okay. Yep. Just get on that. Just carve out some time to. Yep.
Yeah, the other thing I'm getting grief for right now is that I've never seen The Crown. And I think that's the next show that I'm going to dig into, since it's its final season. So okay.
Started. Yeah.
At least as long as I'm waiting for Cobra Kai, I may as well watch The Crown. What else is there to watch right now? Succession's over, Billions is over. I can't be that girl that just keeps watching Billions over and over again. Although I'm telling you, it's very easy. It would be very easy to become that girl.
Yes.
Okay. My number one, I would like to know all about the Vega brothers. Now, they were never in a movie together, but they exist. So Reservoir Dogs featured Vic Vega as portrayed by Michael Madsen. And we do know that he gets shot by Tim Roth, Mr. Orange. And he's a sadistic prick and super scary. But was he always a sadistic prick? And was he always super scary?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to Pulp Fiction. And that's where we meet Vincent Vega, as portrayed by John Travolta, who also gets his demise by being shot, although not by Tim Roth. He's shot by Bruce Willis. In a space of storytelling that is almost always completely nonlinear. At least those two movies in the Quentin world, totally nonlinear. And they have to be brothers. There's just no other way around it. So tell me about Vincent and Vic Vega and what their deal was. How did they grow up? How they become criminals? Did they ever spend time together? Did they pull jobs together? Did they have romances? I need to know this shit. This is very important, especially since Quentin has been saying all of this time, I'm going to make 10 movies and I'm going to hang them up. Well, that's not an option for Chris McPeak. I'm sorry, Quentin, if you're watching this, especially since Annie just told you that she wants a origin story of Drexel Spivey, which True Romance wasn't directed by Quentin, but it was written by Quentin. So there's just a dozen, thousand, million other stories that you have to tell, Mr. Tarantino. And I demand that the Vega brothers be one of them. So, God damn it, fucking make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be all kinds of great. And I'm going to now spend the rest of the day casting all of my movies because I'm now completely obsessed with this concept. And at least we're talking origin stories as opposed to let's play the game where we recast the Dirty Dozen. Because as much as I actually like playing that game, if it ever happened, I would absolutely lose my shit. But it is fun to discuss.
Yes.
Okay, so we're recapping, and I am recapping first. My honorable mention is a Karate Kid origin story with Mr. Miyagi. And then from 5 to 1, I want the Legend of Rick Blaine, Casablanca. I want the vaudeville years of Willie Clark and Al Lewis, the Sunshine Boys. I want the young Jack Horner stuck his thumb in the pie or whatever. Yeah. That was just wrong. I want a Kevin Quinn, Kevin Riley, Bobby Texador Q&A origin story. And then finally, I want the history of the Vega brothers. And Quentin has...
Okay, so my honorable mention was John Patrick Mason from The Rock. And then 5 to 1, Drexel Spivey from True Romance, Dr. Frankenfurter, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Leon the Professional, Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, and number 1, Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride.
I love it. So I am taking a quick little peruse here through IMDb's list of the top 100 actors under 30. And I'm seeing, where did he go? Austin Butler is on this list. Where can we find a place for Austin Butler? And then there is also, where did he go? Freddie Highmore, who I'm not I don't know. And then the guy, Jack Gleason, who was in Game of Thrones, who played the shit blondie kid that got killed in the Purple Wedding. Was that what they called it? The Purple Wedding. Oh, and Thomas Brody Sangster, who was in Love Actually. He's the little kid playing the drums in Love Actually, but he also was in... He was in the series about the Sex Pistols.
Oh, he's in the Maze Runner show movies.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think all of our origin stories pretty much are boy stories.
I literally just realized that because I do not have one. I'm looking for who I'm going to cast in these. I don't have one female actress. Yeah. So maybe the 5 origin stories that need to be made that are female characters.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
We just made a new series. Yes. All right.
The next episode.
Okay. Next episode. Female origin stories. We are now renaming this as male origin stories that need to be told. Okay. Well, Annie, with that, I think we have finished this episode.
I'm very happy with this episode.
So thank you all very, very much for listening to our humble little show. We would love to hear from you, hear your thoughts and opinions on our top 5 lists. We don't care if you don't like them, but we definitely care if you have an opinion on them. So you can share that amazing opinion with us by sending us an email to hello@thetop5podcast. And for the beautiful, smart, and intelligent Annie Pruitt, I am Kris McPeak, and we thank you for downloading this week's episode. Until next time, adios.